Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm going to play the two Carbony low D whistles with close finger spacing. There's the wide bore and the narrow bore. And the reason I want to do this, because I recently introduced these in more detail, and I'll put a link to that at the top and also at the end of this video. But I know that you want to hear the tone qualities and the tone differences between these two whistles. I mean, after all, when you're choosing a whistle, you choose a whistle based on the tone primarily. The tone's what's going to cause you to fall in love. Now, responsiveness and playability are right there with it. And so I'm wanting to show you those factors by playing both of these whistles. I want you to hear them. You know, we can't just run down to our local low D whistle store and sit and play a variety of low D whistles all day. That opportunity is just not available to most all of us. And so it's important to have videos like this where the tone and the playability are shared and experienced. Side note, when I make a video, it's me. I use my phone for the camera. I'm in my study. It doesn't really get too much reverb in here, and I have a microphone. I do no post processing. So this, what you're hearing is the sound as best as my microphone can capture it. Now, one other quick note before I jump in and start playing for you is I am very grateful to Rob, who is the heart and brains behind Carbony. He's offering us a 5% discount on all of our Carbony purchases. Please take advantage of this. I say please take advantage of this because the Carbonies are more expensive. And, you know, these are top of the line professional grade instruments. And so you're going to want that 5% discount. The 5% discount code is Scott's Journey. I'll put it here on the screen. I'll also put it at the top of the notes to this video so that you could access it. Remember to use that when you're checking out. I mean, after all, as I'm recording this, Christmas is just around the bend. And who isn't going to want to put a Carbony whistle on their Christmas list, especially with a 5% discount? And if Christmas isn't around the bend when you're watching this, maybe your birthday is, or maybe you just want to treat yourself and take advantage of that great discount. Rob, thank you for giving us a discount. That's really nice. In the previous video, a number of you shared your experience of playing Carbony whistles because some of you own them and I know love them. And if more of you would chime in, I'd appreciate that. If you have a Carbony, please share your experience and what you think of the differences between them, and that will help. So first, I'm going to play the Dear Irish Boy. It's a slower tune. The entire tune repeats, but I guess I'm going to repeat it. The first time through, I'm going to play on the wide bore. The second time through, I'm going to play it on the narrow bore. Beautiful whistles. So I'm actually going to stop the video and I'll stand to play, but I'm going to change it so that you can see me while I play. So the Dear Irish Boy first on the Carbony wide bore low D with close finger spacing. All right, that was Dear Irish Boy, Carbony, wide bore, low D, close finger spacing. Now, same tune, moving to the narrow bore. And I think often a slower tune gives you the ability to really hear some of those fine differences between the tone qualities of two whistles. So, narrow bore. Right, they are. I hope you could get some of those subtle tone differences between these two absolutely beautiful whistles. It's funny, they're so responsive. I find myself wanting to play trills now and then, and that's just amazing. So anyway, what I'd like to do now is I'm going to play a scale on each of them. I'm going to go first, I'm going to do the low octave so you can hear each, and then the second octave so that you can hear each. All right, so the first octave, bottom D to the second octave D on the wide bore. Now, I'll do the same on the narrow bore. Alrighty. Now, sorry, it's a lot of switching back and forth. Now the second octave on the wide bore. Now, the narrow bore, second octave up to the third octave D. So I'd say between these two on the scale. So wide bore, warmer, lower, cleaner, narrow bore. The wide bore, smidge warmer and breathier. The wide bore requires just a bit more air and wants you to push the top of the second octave. The narrow bore, you can push, but you don't need to. It plays so freely. And what amazes me with both of these whistles is there are a lot of whistles, like with this narrow bore, that plays so freely, top to bottom. A lot of times if you get a whistle that's just that clean and plays easily at the top. It's often a whistle you can't lean into and play expressively. But that's not the case with the narrow bore. And so a little bit more traditional low D whistle with the wide bore, but you could still easily play the top of that second octave because it's just pretty amazing. Both play phenomenally responsibly. Responsively. Well, and they play responsibly as well. Oh dear, that was funny. So what I want to do now is I'm just going to play the first bit of the hornpipe off to California on both of these whistles. And one note there is, Off to California is just a fun, bouncy tune that you can play quickly. I'm going to lean into playing it faster than I normally would, just so that you could hear the distinctions between the notes. I'm not going to try and throw in ornaments unless my fingers get carried away. I know I'm going to throw in an extra run or two, but I want you to be able to hear how each of these two whistles sound on differentiating between, moving from one note to the next. Both amazingly responsive. I would say it feels to me as though they're similarly responsive, but I'd say that the narrow bore at least is going to seem more responsive because it doesn't have that slight breathiness between the notes, and so you're going to hear cleaner note transitions and distinctions, which is probably going to permit you to play more rapidly, and you're going to hear great responsiveness. One other side note, you'll hear me at times, like when I hit a note, you might hear a tap. That's because I'm still getting used to how lightly you use your fingers. I'm still, it's going to take me a month or more to get my fingers to play gently and lightly, dancing over the whistle. I feel like I'm having to tap them harder, and that's because of all the other low Ds I play. And so forgive that if you hear some tapping. That's just me needing to become more accustomed to the whistle. So the beginning of Off to California, first on the Carbony low D wide bore with close finger spacing. I wanted to throw that little bum bum in on the end just because it felt fun when I'm doing just that first little bit. Now, the same thing on the Carbony narrow bore. Yes, I am playing both of these Carbony low Ds with my finger pads. Yes, as I said in the previous video, I honestly feel like I'm playing a high D whistle, responsive high D whistle, an octave lower. Excuse me. Now, I honestly can't say that these two whistles make me a better musician. But maybe I could phrase it that way. What I'd really like to say is both of these whistles enable me to play closer to my abilities, and they will both, or whichever one I keep, they will enable me to grow faster and grow closer to the ceiling of my abilities, and that will help stretch me, and I believe I will grow faster and further as a musician because of the Carbony whistles. Rob, for that, if nothing else, thank you. My friends, if you like the tone at all, if you're after responsiveness, These are amazing options. Go grab one. Use the discount code Scott's Journey, and you will love them. Well, I do. I am blown away. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happier, low D whistling.